2023 has been one of the best years in gaming in a long time. Got Tears of the Kingdom, Diablo 4, Baldur's Gate 3, Pikmin 4 finally came out after being near completion for 8 years in a row. Resident Evil 4 had its 5th re-release, but this time, they had a gotcha machine.
Oh, it's a gold capsule!
All this and we're only in August. Even if you don't like all of these games, there's almost certainly something you've played this year that's an absolute banger. But like a man who's just finished a 5-star meal at a fine Italian restaurant, unlimited salad and breadsticks galore, there's only so much high quality, fine cuisine I can consume before I grow tired and begin to crave the sweet, greasy comfort of some fast food. As I pass by the McDonald's on my way home, I find myself now thinking, damn, I need some greasy ass garbage in my mouth right fucking now. When Cyberpunk 2077 released in December 2020, people were furious. After nearly a decade of waiting and ever-building hype, the game released in a clearly broken and unfinished state. Glitch compilations filled every corner of the internet. Fans complained en masse. Sony even delisted the game from their store because they had simply found the state of the game to be too appalling to support. So naturally, this is when I decided I had to play this game. Now you might think that doing that makes me stupid, but you'd be wrong. I've been doing far stupider things for way longer. In fact, this one actually makes sense. I barely play story-focused games, where a strict narrative is laid out before you to experience in the exact way the developer intended. For me, those kinds of games feel less like an actual game and more like a carnival ride, minus the felon operating a rusty Ferris wheel that was put together by a bunch of underpaid workers last week. I instead prefer games that focus on giving the player systems and tools to experiment with, coming up with solutions and strategies independently. Sometimes you do exactly the thing developers expect. Sometimes you circumnavigate whole parts of the game through an oversight. Either way, in the end you get to experience that same thrill of discovery, learning what you can and cannot do with the tools given to you, making every step forward feel less like an amusement park ride and more like an accomplishment, allowing me to feel the joy of having actually accomplished something with my own hard work. A joy which is second only to the joy of watching someone else's hard work all go to shit. So when a game like Cyberpunk comes out, and the discoveries you can make from exploring and experimenting don't involve anything the developers actually planned, but instead just the game contorting itself into new and interesting abominations of shapes, it's actually a pretty fun game to play. On release, Cyberpunk 2077 was a broken, busted ass piece of shit. Broken quests, stuff teleporting around, people and objects stuck inside of each other, shit randomly flying into the air, you randomly flying into the air, the world around you melting into Swiss cheese. So you know, about half as glitchy as your average Bethesda game. If you've ever played an Elder Scrolls or a Fallout game, there's a strong chance you have seen literally every bug that Cyberpunk has to offer and then some. For a long time, people have merely tolerated these bugs. Lately, some people have been getting tired of them, but me? It's the only reason I'm playing these games. Do you remember the final boss of Skyrim, the ancient dragon guy that was hyped up for 50 hours? Because I sure didn't. I had to look up what the final fight was online just to remember. Oh yeah, that guy? I beat that guy in like 12 seconds. Bethesda games are designed to maximize a sense of player freedom, allowing you to do seemingly anything while simultaneously ignoring the actual things you're supposed to be doing. As a result, every element of the game aside from exploring the world feels half-baked. Magic is just point and click. Melee combat is waving your arms around. Speech checks do almost nothing, leaving the game with the breadth of an ocean but the depth and substance of a puddle. Outside of this guy, I can't really remember any particular characters or events from the game. At least not the events the developers actually meant to put in there, that is. What I do remember is the first time I got thrown into the stratosphere by a giant, or how plates help you glitch through walls, or how horses can climb cliffs due to their bad geometry, or when you find a body and it just starts vibrating around on the ground like some fucked up toy. That one's funny. They should put that in on purpose next time. For many people, including myself, I think the bugs these games are infamous for have often eclipsed the actual gameplay and story elements that the developers actually meant to put in there. Serendipitously, however, since the strength of these games is basically walking around and seeing what wacky shit you can find, the bugs actually end up working to enhance that sense of discovery, because at any point, shit like this can just happen and it is hilarious every single time. And since they're just bugs that the developers didn't intend to put in there in the first place, they can happen seemingly at random, which gives these games a replay value that other developers can only dream of.
Hey, you're finally awake.
But there's another level to this guilty pleasure of mine as well, as sometimes when a glorious dumpster fire burns too hot, it can spread. These glitches have become more prolific with each Bethesda release, culminating in their latest release, Fallout 76, which is such a massive shit show of a game that the problems even started to leak into the real world, with the collector's edition bundles being shipped out with the wrong products entirely. The helmets they sent out though were way more lifelike than anyone expected, not because of the build quality or anything, no, they're fucking cheap plastic pieces of shit, but instead because, just like in the game, you would be exposed to deadly toxins while wearing it. The critics tore the game apart. YouTubers made 2-hour-long videos listing everything wrong with the game. The fans bought the game anyway, but you better believe the Reddit comments were furious. Now all this may sound like I hate Bethesda games, but remember, when your favorite hobby is warming yourself up by the dumpster fire, you know I found every bit of online complaining just as fun as the glitches themselves. So when Fallout 76 came out, I watched every single one of these videos, even if half of them were just the same stuff regurgitated by different content creators. I just couldn't get enough of that wet, tasty, broken ass garbage. It was great. I love this shit. And I know you do too. Don't lie. I've seen the view counts on these videos. We all love a good shitty game from time to time. And the time has come again. I have played too many high quality games this year, and I'm now craving the low quality Cronenberg-ass trash that is a Bethesda game. I wish for nothing more than to re-experience watching my guy glitch through the ground, while listening to another guy complain about how bad the game is on a YouTube video I have playing on my second monitor. Now I've heard that Bethesda's next game, Starfield, the game this video is actually supposed to be about, is apparently different. They've advertised this game as having a more in-depth story, more robust gameplay systems, and more polished than any other Bethesda game before, which is the same thing they said about all the other games, but hey, would Todd Howard ever lie to you?
And again, it just works.
And if they actually do finish a game before releasing it for once, good for them, I guess. Yeah, whatever, the game's good, sure. I didn't need a bad game that bad anyway. But Todd, if you're listening, I know the game comes out in just a week, so you're probably thinking about bug testing it soon. But please, I don't need another well-polished, good game to play this year. I need trash, and I need it now. There is nothing like a Bethesda shitshow. Just give me a few weeks without any patches. Doesn't have to be too long, just enough time for 1 or 2 glitch compilations. Maybe an angry Reddit thread or 2. Just enough to scratch that greasy garbage itch I have, please. It's all I ever wanted. In the meantime, let me know what your favorite trash game is in the comments. I need to get a list of backups ready just in case Starfield turns out to be bad and is actually a well-made game. Alright, bye bye.